Today we'll talk about smart application extensibility or the application customization journey. We'll bring you on the old journey and show you a new path to new solutions. We all have experience with application customization. What you get when you buy a packaged app is an out-of-the-box app. It will support some business roles that you have in your enterprise. The issue is when you look at your resources in your enterprise, you realize that there are additional steps that need to be done. What to do? The classical solution is to draw those steps, understand what they are, communicate to the organization, and then go and heavily customize the application so that even steps that were not included into the original applications are now supported. And by the end, you get something that was not what you actually had in mind when you purchased the app. You realize that there is an issue when you go into an upgrade path, and you realize that all the customization you have done now cannot be easily ported to a new version, and you're stuck with that. There is an alternative to this process. It's called process extension. You realize that you need an app, or you procure the app, but instead of heavily customizing the app, you understand what are the business steps that are not included into the out-of-the-box application, and how can you extend those business processes. There are many ways, but what we recommend is looking at a set of templates built on top of BPM. We call them process accelerators, and take your application and plug in those out-of-the-box business process solutions. Now your entire business process is supported by the application plus the process accelerators. This way, you can actually do more with your applications. You can support the end-to-end processes by removing the white space between apps. If there are some manual steps between apps that different departments use, then you can eliminate them with the process accelerators. You can eliminate, obviously, the needs for brittle customizations. And at the end of the day, you're able to track end-to-end your business processes across apps, even if there is no app that covers the entire end-to-end process. Finally, you can extend these applications with social and mobile capabilities that come with the platform that we're building this process accelerator. So ultimately, your business users will be more satisfied because their entire business step is covered either by an app or by a process accelerator that integrates. So what are process accelerators? They are pre-built solutions to key processes, like, for example, loan origination, employee onboarding, incident reporting in public sector, financial reporting approval, and many others. These are very flexible, and we build them based on customer priorities. They are out of the box because they are designed so that they can support an end-to-end process. They are product grade. They are tested by the same team that tests the applications and the base products. They are extensible and pre-integrated with other applications. That's what we will see in the demo today. They are dashboard driven, so you can monitor the end-to-end process. They are designed with our customers, and they embody best practices so that if you want to build your own process, custom process in BPM, you have a great example to follow. This is the list of process accelerators we deliver today. We work continuously on new ones. And as part of the process accelerators, we're also delivering some out-of-the-box smart extensibility scenarios. And today we'll walk through Siebel-based scenarios and Peoplesoft scenarios. The best way of understanding smart extensibility is actually see. Let's start with the process. Loan origination. It's a complex process that in many banking institutions involves many roles. Like, for example, a loan officer that will actually start and collect all the data for the loan. A loan processor that will collect all documents from the customer and create a submission package. A compliance analyst that will verify the applicant identities. This is due to regulations, KYC, that prescribe the checks and balances need to be done by different roles. Then a loan underwriter that, based on all the available documentation and information, including, for example, credit ratings, background checks, and collateral, will actually decide to approve or decline the application. And finally, a loan processor that will obtain contract signatures from the customer. And all of this at the end will result into creating the loan in the system that will service the loan, that will calculate the principal and interest in each month. You may decide to procure an application that supports a loan officer in the process to create the loan and collect all the right information from the customer. And one example of such applications is Siebel Financial Services. And that's where we will start, with a loan officer that captures the application for a new loan in Siebel and then submits it for processing. So what the loan officer will do is create a new loan application, enter all the information that is necessary, collected, for example, via the phone. This will be a loan for Mr. and Mrs. Abbott. select the type of loan, assign the pricing information, the purpose, and specify the product amount. The loan officer is done his work in Siebel. And now, though, the organization still needs to go through the process of document collection, underwriting, and so on. The organization has a choice by other applications for performing those steps, or if those steps are simple enough and they just need to connect different apps, perform different steps, maybe they want to proceed with the BPM process accelerators. And at this point, the loan officer is going to submit the application, set the stage submitted. This will send the application to FSLO, which is a process accelerator. At this point, all the other steps that are necessary for this loan to be approved will have to be executed. And so Joel Stein, for example, is logging in, and this time is logging into BPM, where they will find some steps. For example, collecting documentation from Lisa Abbott. And they will go into tabs that have been created for that purpose. Let's zoom in some of the functionality offered by the process accelerators for loan origination. Here you see the document tabs where the documents are collected. What's also interesting is that view checklist link. Based on some business rules that are easy to configure given that this is built on Oracle BPM, we have determined that a set of documents is necessary to be collected based on the type of loan here. And this also simplifies the work for, obviously, the loan processor. The loan processor can now click on that checklist and see the documents that are necessary to be collected for this specific loan. The process accelerator will support the loan processor in document collection, as we have seen, will then support the compliance officer in identity verification. And I would recommend that you look at the demo for the full FSLO, Financial Services Loan Origination scenario. Then we'll also support the loan underwriter that will have to decide whether or not the loan has to be given. And this is the step that is assigned to the loan underwriter. Perform final review of approved loan application for Lisa Abbott. The loan underwriter opens and checks all the information that has been provided along the life of this loan request. And finally, approves the disbursement and specifies a disbursal date. We're going back to Siebel to see the status of the application now. We click on the application for Lisa Abbott, and we find out the stage is now approved. Therefore, we executed some steps outside of Siebel, and we updated Siebel with the result of those steps. And we finally created financial accounts that are necessary in Siebel. Let's now walk into another scenario, a Peoplesoft Talent Acquisition Manager scenario, in which we extend the Peoplesoft Talent Manager with Employee Onboarding, another process accelerator. So we first log in into Peoplesoft. There are 2 hires ready for onboarding. Jackie Smith has been presented with an offer. She has accepted. And now we can prepare for hire. The HR manager records all the information about Jackie, including personal data. This personal data will be obviously sent to the right backend systems as well via integration. So we have added a new button in Peoplesoft called Initial Employee Onboarding. When clicked, that button will create a new process within the Employee Onboarding Process Accelerator. And so the hiring manager comes in the Oracle Business Process Workspace. She will see some tasks assigned to her. And one task is add provision request for Jackie Smith. So what services does Jackie need to be effective on her day 1? This is determined by the accelerator, as you can see. There are this set of services that are needed, from the office phone to a cube to employee single sign-on and so on. And these requests, each one of them, will now be tracked by the accelerator, actually another accelerator, internal service request, that will track and make sure that all the services are ready by the time that Jackie steps into her office. This is one request. This is an office phone, for example, is being requested. As you can see, it goes to the right fulfilling department, and the fulfilling department can approve the request. And then someone can actually provision the office phone for her and can close the request. The same will happen for the other requests. And at the end of the day, the hiring manager will be able to track, as you can see here, all the requests to make sure that Jackie is productive from day one. As you have seen also in this case, the real end-to-end process from hiring to productivity for Jackie has been supported and delivered using Peoplesoft talent management and two accelerators, employee onboarding and internal service request. Jackie will step in the office on day one, motivated and productive, thanks to smart app extensibility with process accelerators.